after I left CMU, but let me tell you what I did before I got to CMU and during CMU. So how did I get started with speech? So I was finishing my master's in the University of Madrid, and I was searching for a project, and there were open houses, different faculty that were showing projects, and I was mesmerized when I saw this one. And this was this professor, Jose Manuel Pardo, who was working with a hospital for deaf children. And these are children that were born deaf. They never spoke. Their vocal tract was fine. They could speak just fine technically, but because they missed the feedback, their speech was slurred. So what they were missing is some way to give them some feedback. And these guys came up with this approach where they use analysis of the microphone's input and did inverse filtering to find out like the vocal tract shape, and then present it to them. So this is what the vocal tract shape should be when you say ah, but if you say eh, it's a different one. So, oh, and I thought, wow, first of all, this could be societally impactful. This is cool. And second, I have no freaking idea how this thing works. I like to learn. So that's how I got it. I ended up just programming a DTW recognizer on a 6502, learn my assembly along the way. And then I was working on this, and a couple of people that you may know, Hy Mervitt and Jared Bernstein, visited. They were collaborating with my professor, and they talked to me and said, well, you need to go to the US to graduate school. Okay, they convinced me. So I left Madrid, and I spent 1 year learning signal processing in Rice University. And then Manolo told me, well, you should meet this guy at CMU, because I think you need to get a PhD. I met Rich, and he was very persuasive. So I came to CMU. And the thing that started being very attractive to me at CMU is, and we've heard this all along, is the systems perspective. If you're really trying to solve a big problem, it's difficult to do it with one person. You need like a collective of people all working on the same problem, different angles. And we've seen that in many cases, whether it's the Harpy, the Hearsay system, Dragon system. And when I got there, it was the Sphinx system that was involved. So I got there and I saw Kai Fu Lee's demonstration of the Sphinx system and said, wow, this is impressive. And yeah, that sounds like exactly like I work on that. And then Rich told me, I have a problem for you. Maybe this could be your thesis. Because if you try this system that works so well with a closed-circuit microphone, this is the model of the Sennheiser microphone that we're using, it works quite well. But I just plugged in this microphone, a desktop microphone, and it was just garbage, total random stuff. Why don't you work on trying to fix that problem so that it's not only continuous speech, speaker independent, large vocabulary, but also works with any microphone. So that became the topic of my thesis. So we collected a new database because the one that Kai Fu was using took too long to train, and I wanted to run many experiments. So we collected this huge database that contained 1,000 utterances for training and 140 utterances for testing, just so you can translate in hours. It was 1 hour of speech for training. That was big. But I can run many experiments. Rich pointed me to a paper about spectral subtraction. So I read that and I started building this. But at that time, I had taken a couple of classes that I thought maybe I can pull some ideas from there. One of them was Tom Mitchell was teaching an AI class. But it turns out that over there, I only learned about Lisp and ASAR search. So then there was another class that Vijaya Kumar was teaching on pattern recognition, the green Dudan Hart book. Back then, I couldn't find the words machine learning, but that's basically what it was. And so, well, maybe I want to use one of those techniques, statistics or now machine learning. So that's what I did. And through a lot of work and spending long evenings in the lab, I managed to reduce the gap between using the system with this microphone and with that microphone. So it was time to start thinking about preparing a thesis. And I got, in addition to Rich, I got Raj and Kai Fu in my thesis committee. And Rich told me, oh, you need to be very careful when you write your thesis. Because the first thing that Raj does is he gives it to an undergrad. And if the undergrad comes and says, I didn't understand anything, he returns it back. Say, I'm not even going to waste your time, my time, really, in case you didn't know. Wow. But I said, hey, actually, that's probably a good idea because that means you need to make an effort to make it readable and understandable by others. And Rich taught me a lot about how to write. I showed with like a draft, and he said, well, is this paragraph necessary? What happens if we delete it? Does it change the outcome? I said, no, then delete it. But sometimes, of course, you need to add another paragraph because it wasn't clear. And along the way, trying to convince the reader that this was worth reading, maybe trying, there were things where I'm not even convinced myself. So then, of course, you need to run another experiment. That took a little bit longer, but it was a great experience. So I also eventually got another of these, like Kaifu's, another book. And that was excellent. I also spent, just outside of work, some time getting caffeinated. You probably all remember this machine. I was fascinated when I landed there, and the first thing that someone told me is the finger command to see if the Coke machine had Cokes. And I used it quite a bit. But it wasn't just Coke that I used. And let me tell you about a little speech recognition error. Someone told me, let's go to Kyoto's Tavern. And I said, okay, sounds good. One of my colleagues. And it was very strange tavern, if you recognize it. There were things hanging off the ceiling. But it's interesting enough that if you look at that, that's the name, Kyoto's Tavern. That was a speech recognition error, a human speech recognition error. It's not Kyoto's. It's not the city in Japan. It's the name of the Italian person that set up this tavern, which no longer exists. But that was fun. This is a picture of my two office mates in one of the basements in Port Hall. Tom Sullivan, who's now a teaching faculty at DC, and Yoshiaki Oshima. And I had a great time there. There were no windows. It's not like this is the place for the windows. So you basically had to spend all the time there in the lab. But it was a wonderful time. And I got more than a PhD there. It wasn't just, although I really enjoyed it, I learned a lot. And I really thank Rich and Raj and Kaifu and all the others for what I learned. I also found my future wife there. And not only that, but then my son Nicholas, who's finishing his master's here, and my younger son, who at some point will finish too. It was a great experience being at CMU, and I will tell you later this afternoon what I did after I left. Thank you very much.